ICE nabbed over the weekend 11 Iranian immigrants, illegal immigrants, several of which had committed crimes. I guess that kind of speaks to the open border policies. Is, we talk about the United States being the biggest and best military, which is true, but at the same time, you let, I don't know, 20 million illegals into the country. You're kind of up in the air on who's in here, what they're doing. What are your thoughts about this? In my opinion, successful ICE capturing of people who are not supposed to be in the country and potentially could have done some harm to the American people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that speaking in analogies is a great way to communicate not only with people that are intelligent, but also with the people that I call soggy brains. It's like you should like it's always good to use an analogy because it makes sense. And like I made a video a couple weeks back criticizing a guy that made this very viral video by suggesting that a country is like a house. It's like, do you want people to just walk inside your house? And I think that such an analogy actually is pretty valid here again, because it does make a lot of sense. It's like if I was to leave my front yard open, not my house, but my front yard, and everybody in my neighborhood could walk into that front yard, chances are there's not going to be a murderer that walks into the yard. But despite the fact that most of the people around here are good, might be good, may never do anything ever, it still doesn't mean that it would be a smart idea for me to leave it open to any person. Because if one person out of every 10 million people or 50 million people or whatever is a person that is not vetted and could do something terrible, especially be activated to be likely to do something terrible, simply not knowing who they are, not even deporting them or detaining them, but just not knowing who they are at all, presents a very clear and present risk that any complete soggy brain, oatmeal brain, mush brain, smooth brain on the left, or just at all, that says no human being should be illegal. It's like, all right, well, that's going to be convenient, when they're running up your backyard and jumping over your fence, or they activate because there's some type of situation occurring in some other country that maybe doesn't care so much for us. It's like no human being's illegal till they blow up your block, and then it's like, it's a lot easier to look back, hindsight is 2020, and say, oh, maybe we should have known who those people were. Like, what a novel idea.
Yeah, that's a novel idea indeed. Email the show, tpt@tpusa.com, to figure out, or to let me know how many brains you caught Bobby describing there. There was the oatmeal brain, the mush brain, smooth brain. There was too many for me to keep up with. But
Soggy brain.
It reminds me of this whole lefty talking point of migrants commit less crimes than American-born citizens. Well, one, that's just an entire lie, because they conflate legal immigrants with illegal immigrants. If you just take illegal immigrants, it's an entirely different number. But two, even if that were true, which it is not, I want zero. I have 0% tolerance for people who are coming into the country illegal and committing crimes versus people who are here in the United States, obviously citizens. I don't condone crime in any way, shape, or form, but the threshold is 0 for me, people coming into the country, especially if they're coming in illegally.
Right. Well, like think about the difference between if I get a traffic ticket speeding going 100 miles an hour. It's like, I have insurance. I've had car insurance and a driver's license for 25 years in this country. I've never been arrested for any traffic violation ever. It's like, you've been here for 1 week. You have no license. You have no plate. You have no insurance. You went 100. It's like, is that 100-mile-an-hour violation equal between the two of us? No.
Yeah, well, and then that, not even discounting the cultural differences of just people not understanding the way we do things here, which is wild. But yeah, it takes a smooth brain person to believe that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, it seems we might be creating a smooth brain people. According to this new study out and article in the Wall Street Journal, I think it was Kimberly Strassel was talking about this. AI is creating what's called cognitive offloading. Now, I use AI, I use ChatGPT or Grok or any of the other large language learning models in place of Google at this point to look up and find things. And that's, I think, different than what this article is talking about. What they're talking about is coming up with ideas, right? I'm trying to figure out, what kind of fuse I need to put in my lawnmower to make it start again. They're trying to think, okay, well, how should I think about this? And unfortunately, what they're seeing is students coming out of high school and college who have now gotten used to AI, not coming up with research and how they, what they should know, but how they should know and how they should learn from it. I guess what are your thoughts on the prevalence, the ubiquitous prevalence of AI and how it affects or is going to affect young people's brains going into the future, and what does that do to the vote?
Well, well, the vote,
Yeah.
that's an entirely different story. I think the simplest way for me to summarize it is, generally speaking, I believe in duality. I believe in a yin and a yang for any and all things. There's an equal and opposite reaction to all situations. So what does that mean to me? It means that for all the bad that, like, let's use social media as an example, for all the bad things that social media causes, it causes an equivalent amount of good. For all the people that get bullied on social media, how many people that got bullied now can create a friend group or be part of a social club by sharing their feelings online? It's like there's a yin and a yang to everything. So the same goes for AI. I think that the best example that I can come up with is like let's pretend that it was 2000 years ago, and they were like, well, if human beings don't have to go out into the woods and hunt for animals, they'll just be fat and lazy and sit inside, and they could buy their food at the corner store. And it's like, what happens when you don't have to go and hunt your food? You go and you exercise at the gym. You train your body in a different way. I would wager that if your brain didn't need to recall memories of what type of fuse to put in a particular item when you need to repair it, and that was done or handled by an AI, you could do other things to test your memory or test your brain, much like you would exercise
Mm.
in the gym. It's like, I don't need to go outside and run after a goat and tackle it and kill it to get my exercise. I can run on a treadmill inside when it's convenient, more efficient. And then go figure, actually a treadmill has a low impact factor that creates less stress on my knees, so my knees last longer. So I think that, generally speaking, when it comes to technology, it's best to not fight a tidal wave. And I think there's a plenty of amount of things that we can point out as being bad with AI, like kids not being able to think, that there is a complementary yang to that, which is these kids are not going to spend as much time accomplishing menial tasks like loading the dishwasher or replacing their laundry. And therefore, they can do things that are more creative, more thoughtful, and ultimately more productive, which will lead to a better world. It's like you can't explain to me that a woman sitting at home and spending 5 hours to wash laundry is somehow better for the world or better for people's brains than putting it in a machine and doing it now. I think that it ultimately just allows people to be more efficient. It will just look different than it does now. So I think it's good, and it will affect people's brains in bad ways, some ways, but in good ways to complement it.
Yeah, it sounds like there needs to be some sort of supplement to offset the kind of brain rot or cognitive decline, which is great. You know, I do Sudoku sometimes, and maybe that's what
Yeah.
people need. So I don't know if you have any ideas. TPT at tpusa.com. What can we do to supplement and offset the ever-present AI, which is not going away? I think you're right. There's no use in fighting the tidal wave. It's
Yep.
going to be here. We might as well figure out how to deal with it.